Hello, everybody. Hey, 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 hope you're feeling fine, 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 fine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case I just joined for the very first time, my name is Ezekiel. I'm currently a student studying in the United States. And today I'm going to be talking specifically to prospective graduate students. Those of you who are trying to get into the United States, not even the United States, but those of you who are trying to study abroad. You don't know the exact location you want to go to. You don't know if it is the US, if it is Canada, if it is the UK, if it is Australia, if it is Germany. We are going to be talking about that. Some of you already know the location, but you don't know what program you want to go into. Is it accounting? Is it communication? Is it chemistry? Is it agricultural economics? We are going to talk about that, right? And some of you don't know, a lot of people are going outside Nigeria. They are going outside of my home country. You know, how are they getting funded? Is it that they are paying school fees by themselves? How are they getting scholarships? How are they getting funding? What are the kind of funding I need to apply to? We are going to be talking about that as well. So before we get deeper into the video, let's go on a very quick commercial break, and we are going to be right back. Alright, so welcome back, guys. So the first thing I need you to understand when it comes to you applying to schools and you understanding where you need to go is that number one, it is not a one-day job. It is not a one-week job. It is not a 3-month job. You have to prepare ahead. You have to be proactive. So you can't just wake up and say, hey, I've woken up today and I want to go to the United States tomorrow. You know, it doesn't work that way. So all you have to do is to ensure that you plan ahead. And I'm glad that you are currently watching this video right now, because it's actually going to help you in your planning phase, and it will help you make more informed decision about what you want to do moving forward. Before I go ahead, I need you to understand that some of the things that I'm going to be saying here are my opinions. There are some of the things that I have tried and they have worked for me, and I'm giving them to you to try as well. I'm not saying that this is a set in stone. I'm not saying that it's a one size fits all. Different experiences for different people, but I'm very sure that you're also going to get some sort of ideas, some sort of initiatives from the story that I'm going to be sharing with you as well, and from my personal experiences, right? All right, so the first thing I need you to understand when it comes to after you've made that decision, the first thing I need you to understand after you've made the decision of studying abroad is for you to do some sort of retrospective, right? Have a seat and prepare. When it comes to preparation, I need you to have like a document, right? So you can open your laptop or open your phone, or perhaps you could just grab a notepad and a pen and write some of these things down, and like, oh, this is the first step that I need to do, this is the second thing I need to do. Because trust me, it is an entire project, and if you are not careful, you might be overwhelmed about it, and you could say that, you know what is it gone, I'm not doing again. That could be like, it has happened to me. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to get this done again. But in a situation whereby you are really focused towards studying abroad, these are some of the things that I would suggest that you do in no particular order, right? The first that I will encourage you to do is for you to have an application tracker. An application tracker is a document that you kind of prepare where you have like list of countries that you really want to go to. So your application tracker is going to have names of countries, names of schools in that countries that you are interested in, the program of those schools that you are interested in. I'm going to see if I can have something shown on the screen, something like this that you could actually model for your own. I did this during my time, and then it might be helpful to you as well, right? So that's that. But first, before we go deeper into the application tracker, you need to understand what countries you are interested in and the peculiarities of those countries. Now, this video is being shot to 2025, and if you are sensitive about the climate, or if you are sensitive about the climate of how, you know, the politics and the governance is being done in major countries like the United States, in Canada, and even the UK, for example, you realize that there are some sort of inconsistencies. There are some things that are really not certain yet, right? But then you don't need to be fretful. You don't need to be afraid. You just need to plan ahead so that you can, you know, you can be ahead of the game. So the first thing you need to understand is what are the peculiarities of these countries. Taking a look at the United States, for example. Oh, United States, this is where I want to go to. Okay, how many schools are there in the United States? We have about 4,000 institutions in the United States. Oh, the United States is rich. They have a lot of scholarship. They have a lot of funding. Which schools can I apply to such that by the time I apply, they can actually give me funding, right? So those are some of the things that I need to understand. Now, be careful because with the new administration now in the US, there are a lot of schools that don't have a lot of funding anymore, that they rely on the governments to get funding. But now that some funding have been extremely cut short, these schools have been massively affected. I know of 2 schools now that actually gave offers of admission to their students and they rescinded the admission, all because they could not provide funding for such students. So you need to be careful when it comes to you applying to certain schools. That is why the application tracker is actually needed for you, right? So you are going to get into program, units, and all of those things. But first, understand that your application tracker, which is the United States, for example, you can just have a column, countries, schools, program, and other things that I'm going to add to it, right? So that's one thing that you might want to consider. If it is Canada, for example, okay, so what are the institutions that are in Canada that I can apply to that have my program of interest, right? So if it is, say, University of Manitoba, University of Saskatchewan, University of British Columbia, you need to understand what each of these institutions need. So if taking a look at US, take a look at the political system and how it impacts your choice, right? In terms of this is my program and this is what I need to do. Do you understand? Do you get it? I should say it again. Okay. So that said, so if you are taking a look at scholarships and all of that, then US is your perhaps choice of study, right? So if it is, oh, Canada, Canada, well, you need to also dig deep into schools that actually give scholarships and all of that. But the scholarship in Canada is not as pronounced. It's not as much as how US is pronounced, right? So you need to also consider, does Canada, do they give scholarship? Do this school actually give scholarship? Does my program even have scholarship to offer, international students? Then you can actually give it a shot. United Kingdom, I don't know if they have scholarship because I think my own experience, there are some of them that do have scholarship, but I think they are very, very minute, right? So you need to understand again, does this school have scholarship? University of Sheffield, for example, Regent's University, I don't know if that's Regent's, but some University of Aberdeen, do these schools actually have my program first and then do they have scholarship, right? So Germany, right? There are people who go to Germany, there are people who go to Malta, there are people who go to Finland and all that. But I'm just talking about like 3 major, countries that a lot of people go to more. Australia as well, right? So those are those ones. Application tracker. It's literally going to help you, right? Then second is for you to now consider schools that actually offer your program. Now, before I go deep into this, it's always advisable that you continue with your first degree. If you have a bachelor's degree in economics, for example, you could decide to do a master's in agricultural economics, right? If you have a bachelor's degree in, say, I don't know, business and finance and all of that, it would be great for you to continue that in business and finance and all of that, right? So what I'm trying to say is you don't have to have like a major disconnect. You can't say that you have your bachelor's degree in communication and then you want to have like a master's in statistics, right? I don't think it actually works that way. It might work for some people, but you have to have like a lot of experience to back it up, right? So you have to have a lot of experience, I mean industry knowledge, to actually back it up. And if you could sell yourself such that, okay, you said you're in communications, now you're going to statistics. Why the switch in statistics? Why are you changing, your career progression and all of that? You have to be able to document it and back it up as well, right? So that's one of those things that you need to consider. I remember when I was, I mean, in the previous videos that I have shared with you guys, where I said all the schools that I applied to in Canada and all of that. It was because when I was doing my retrospective, I realized that most of the things that I was applying to, albeit I have some sort of experience in them, but they are not like industry standard experience. So that could be the reason why I was rejected, right? I had my first degree in communication and I was applying to educational leadership, educational administration in Canada. All three schools that I applied to actually gave me rejection, but educational administration, whatever that I applied to in the United States, they gave me admission. So the question now is, what did they see that let them extend an offer to me? So those are some of those peculiarities that you need to consider, right? So now that you've decided, oh, I'm going to the US, or US has scholarship, Canada, they don't have a lot of scholarship, but I think considering Canada now, pathway to PR seems easy, right? UK, I don't know what their post-study plan is. I can't say much about that, but you need to consider that all of these things are more or less like renewed information that you need to consider now. The way in which you apply to schools as it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, is not the same way it does now, because there's a change in leadership, and this leadership actually impacts even the minute test of entity in that particular country. So you need to pay attention to all of those. So for our case study, let's assume that you are doing the United States, and they're like, okay, so what are the programs? What programs am I interested in? Before I go into what programs I'm interested in, what was my first degree on? What did I do in my first degree? When did I graduate from my first degree? What year was my first degree conferred? Is it 2020? Is it 2015? Is it 2010? Because you need to explain the educational gap too. If you have left school for a long while and now you have decided that you want to pursue a master's degree, so why are you pursuing a master's degree now? So you need to be able to defend that, because all of these things are the research that you need to put into it, such that it's going to help you prepare a solid application document. We have not gotten there yet. We are going to get there very soon, right? So you are going to consider, what is my first degree on? So if your first degree is in communication, okay, you can decide to say, okay, so I want to delve into marketing, right? So it is still in the same group of humanities. It is still in the same group of, say, College of Letters. It's still in the same group of rhetorics, because if you have your first degree in communication now, and then you want to do a master's in marketing or a master's in business administration, it still kind of aligns, because communication is, of course, interdisciplinary, and then you could use it anywhere you find yourself. So those are some of the things that you need to consider. First, we've considered that, okay, fine, this is the country that I'm going to. Second, I've considered that, okay, I need to consider what are the programs that I want to apply to, right? So case in point, you have like a background knowledge of the program that you are going into, right? So that's one thing. Another thing that you need to consider as well. So after you've considered the program you are going to, it now comes to, what are the institutions that offer this program? Now, for example, communication, I can speak to communication because I am in that line, right? So there are some that will say, oh, Master of Arts in Communication. There are some that will say Master of Science in Communication. For some institutions, they see communication as part of the humanities, right? So they confer like Master of Arts in Communication. There are some other institutions that they say it as social science. So they confer it as Master of Science in Communication, right? So those are some of those peculiarities. By the end of the day, it's still like a communication degree that you are going to get. It's just that it might, of course, it's scientific. Your research is also going to be scientific, but let's still leave research out of this. Now let's focus on the program and where you need to get into. So these are the schools in there. Oh, this particular school also has communication. Okay, so in your application tracker, remember, you have countries, right? You have countries like United States, Canada, UK, Finland, Germany, what have you, right? And then you've seen the peculiarities of each of these countries. Oh, what is the cost of living like in these countries? What part of this country do I think that I'm going to I'm going to adapt to better, right? You have taken a look at all of those things. So I'm not saying that out of these countries, I need to consider like my program, right? So my program, my first degree, this is what I did. Then this is what I want to continue in my second degree. So you have that down. And this is where it gets really interesting. When it comes to you now observing the kind of program you need to do next, you don't have to be fixed-minded. You don't have to have a closed mind as regards, they said there's communication that I did in my first degree. It is communication I need to do in my master's. No, you have to have an open mind for you to be able to diversify. As long as the program is related. If you say another program, for example, and is related to maybe one or two courses that you did in your first degree, it actually helps you because it helps you to become diverse, and then you can bring your unique experience in your first degree into this prospective program that you are going for. You need to have that open mind so that you can fit in into the prospective program that you want to get into, right? So that said, so if you have taken a look at the country, the program you are interested in, write relative programs that are sort of connected to your first degree program, and then you can get that done. So if your first degree was in marketing, and then your second degree you want to do it in PR, or you want to do it in advertising, you want to do it in strategic communication, that can be your interest and that can be the specifics of what you want to do. With this, it gives you like a broader vision of this is what I can do with this degree that I want to do. Of course, yes, you want to say that yes, you want to jackpot and all of that, but at the end of the day, let it be with intent that, you know what, if I'm going to go to school, let my degree to make sense. Right? So that's that. So now that you have now considered the program, you are like, okay, fine, okay, I've seen the country, okay, I think this country, Finland, okay, this is the program that I want, okay. So what are the institutions that actually have this program? What are the institutions that offer this program? And then you need to start streamlining. So with that, you are starting from a broader scope and then you are narrowing it down to a particular niche, right? So what are the institutions that have this program that I can apply to? What are the peculiarities? What do they require, right? So let me even take a look at, let's do something now. Let's do something right now. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to share my screen with you and then we are going to do something. So let's do this. Let's use this school as a case study, right? So this is this particular school, North Carolina State University. So what I'm going to do is, you see, this is after I have streamlined my processes, right? I have already streamlined that. Okay, so I've decided to go to a school in the United States. I've decided a program that I want to go for, and I've decided that this particular school is the one that actually offers my kind of program. So what I do is I now go to that particular school. I come to admissions, right? Say graduates admissions, the graduate school, and I come to, this is where you see find your passion and all of that. So I'm going to go to explore our program. So this right here is where you go to explore our program. So you can see graduates, undergraduates. So I'm just going to click on graduates because I'm on graduates, and then I'll go to masters. I'll click on master, so you can see that it is streamlining it down. And then so you can see business entrepreneurship and leadership. You can see communication, media and journalism, education, engineering and all of that, right? I can see the delivery mode as well, if it's on campus, online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and click on communication, media and journalism, and then I'm going to come here and click on campus, right? So it has streamlined it for me, and these are like the courses that are available in this school. So it has streamlined it, so you can see they have communication, they have creative writing, they have English, they have graphic and experience design, they have liberal studies, they have technical communication. So this is why I said you need to be open-minded. If you did your first degree in communication, you can decide to do your second degree in English, or you can decide to do your second degree in linguistics, or you can decide to do your second degree in creative writing, right? So for the purpose of this particular video, I'm going to click on communication, and then this is what they have, right? So you can see the overview, blah, 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 their master's degrees requirements. This is just going to give you like an high level of where you are. But to get more deep understanding of the program you are going for, you click on communication program website. So this is where it now gives you like the page of the particular department that you are interested in. So this is where you get all the information that you need about that particular program. So before you say you are going to send a cold email, ensure that you understand what is on the website already before you start asking questions that are already on the website to the professor or to the potential supervisor. It won't paint you in a good light if you actually say, please, how many credit hours does this program need? It is literally here, you can see that it is 36 credit hours that you need, right? So who should enroll? We welcome full and part-time students who come to us with a wide range of goals. Some are recent college grads looking to start their careers and build on their undergraduate studies. Others are working professionals, developing specializations, exploring new interests, or pursuing a path in academia. The possibilities are near endless, right? So what are the common outcomes? All of this, I don't think you need that yet, right? But how to apply? Now, this school now, right, do not require GRE. These are the things that you need to consider. After you've discovered that, no, this is the program that I want to study, right? After you discover that this is the program that I want to study, then what is the, do they require some sort of external certifications? Do they need TOEFL? Do they need GRE? Do they need IELTS and all of that? You need to consider all of those ones, because if they do, then you need to go get all of those certifications before you apply. Do you even need to put your transcript on WES? Do they need like a WES evaluated transcript for your admission to be considered? So these are all of the things, and now you get to see all of those things on the program website. So that is where the application tracker comes in handy, because you have all of this information in there. As you are making your research, you are putting it in your application tracker. So you already have your country, you already have your program, you already have a list of institutions, and in those list of institutions, you have like their program requirements. So requirements of this now, they don't need GRE for the requirements, right? Okay, so their deadline. So their deadline is one thing that you also need to consider. Oh, the deadline is February 1st. You need to put it in there that, oh, deadline is February 1st, right? So you can see detailed application information here. So you click on it, you see how to apply. Application deadline is February 1st. Application materials, like they said, they don't need GRE. Resume or curriculum vitae, note your accomplishments, honors, recognitions, and job history. So what they did in this application process is that they already inform you of, this is what we need to see when you send in your application to us, right? So you need to ensure that your CV tallies with what they are requesting for, right? So your CV now should have accomplishments and awards in it. Your CV should have honors. Honors could be BA honors, right? Accomplishments could be best graduating students in my class, right? It could be president of the Association of Faculty of Art Students. You know, it could be anything, but ensure that you make something tiny to something grandiose. Permit me to use that word for the lack of a better word, right? Recognitions and job history. Your job history, you have to put it in there. Ensure that your job history tallies with your program, right? So in your job history, I think I'm going to do another video on application packets. Like we literally do like a workshop of CV and how to literally craft your CV to make it compelling and outstanding, such that it will be irresistible to the admission officers. So we've talked about CV and all of that. Now, personal statement. So what they are requesting for in this personal statement is, tell us about your career goals and why you would be a good fit for our program. So your career goals should tally with what you want to do with this degree. What do you want to do with communication? Do you want to be a communications manager? Do you want to be a communications director in one of the Fortune 500 companies? Do you see where that is going? So that is where a lot of research actually comes in. Writing samples. Demonstrate your expertise by submitting an undergraduate thesis, academic documents, marketing materials, news releases, public relations campaigns, or other samples that highlight your abilities. Now, what they want to do with this writing sample is to see your writing prowess, is to see your creative prowess. How do you write? So they've given you options. Some, more often than not, a lot of people use their undergraduate thesis. They, you know, that project that you say that, oh, they want to kill me for, please ensure that you write it well so that when opportunities like this come, you'll be able to present something substantial for the admission committee, right? So academic documents, marketing materials, news releases. If you are someone who writes article, you could use platforms like Medium to communicate your thoughts. You could use platforms like LinkedIn to communicate your thought process. So when you are writing your statement of purpose, or if you are asked to submit a writing sample, you could just give them like a mashup of all of these links and send to them, depending on the number of samples that they request for, right? 3 reference letters. Your references should attest to your academic and professional abilities. Please don't go and tell your friends to write reference letters for you. Start building relationship with your professors now. If you are still in school, start building relationship with them now. If you are out of school yet and you are looking at going into grad school, start sending them happy new month messages. Happy birthday, ma. Happy birthday, sir. Happy weekend. I just thought of you and I said I should just greet you. Because all of these things are going to help you, because you are more or less like building goodwill. It won't make sense for you to say that you have an application deadline in 2 weeks and you're just letting your professors to know now. Cut them some slack. They are also busy. They have other things that they do. So ensure that you tell them about your graduate school application early, at least 6 months, 3 months before you put in your application. It's going to help them prepare well and also have you in mind. So what you just have to be doing is for you to be sending constant reminders to them, right? And if you are asked to submit 3 reference letters, I always suggest that you have like 2 academic and 1 professional. So academic could be like your past lecturers in school, and 1 professional could be like your line manager or your CEO or someone that is like your boss that can speak to your professional abilities, right? So the selection process for this is very strict. Their deadline is February 1 every year, right? So the committee chooses about 15 to 20 of their top applicants. And remember, these 15 to 20 of their top applicants include Americans, include people who are outside of the United States. They choose them every year. So it is limited to 15 to 20 out of about 75 candidates. So you need to actually ensure that your application packet is solid. So you have to put all of this in mind to ensure that if at all anybody is going to be selected, it has to be me. And how that is going to happen is when you have prepared well to write a solid application packet. Your application packet might be asking, what do you mean by application packet? You see all these application materials like this, these are the application documents that you need to submit. And you need to ensure that they are actually solid indeed. So after you have prepared for all of this, remember, we still have our application tracker. All of these application materials, those are the things that you put in there, right? Those are the things that you put into your application tracker. Remember, you've taken a look at the country that you are going to, you've taken a look at the program, you've taken a look at the institution that has those programs, you've taken a look at their deadline and all of those information in between. And then more importantly, if they have funding, right? So where you want to come in is you've already applied, you've already prepared your application packet. What you want to do is perhaps send a cold email. More often than not, it works. More often, it does not work. It depends on your professor or the program director. You could just send a cold email that, oh, dear professor, oh, I just went through your website and I'm very intrigued with the course prospect that I saw. This program is going to help me develop one thing in my future goals. And I would just like to inquire if admission comes with automatic funding. More often than not, these programs actually come with funding. If they don't come with funding, they have other funding sources that they could direct you to. So those are those things you need to consider when you want to put in your application for grad school application, right? So all of those things, they are just rinse and repeat. Just go ahead, get them done, go ahead, get them done, and put in your application tracker. And ensure that as you are writing all of those documents, you are customizing each of those documents to the respective schools that you are applying to. I really hope that this video has helped you and it has given you some sort of insight into what you need to do if you are looking to study abroad in 2025 or 2026 or after 2026. I wish you the very best. Let me know if this video has helped you. If you've got questions, please just put it in the comment section and I'll try to respond in 24 hours or less. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and let's grow this together. Take care of yourself and I wish you the very best.